So for tonight's shave, we've got Williams mug soap. This is the newer version. It's not the vintage one that has more tallow. I think somebody said in 2005 or somewhere like that. That's when they sort of reduced the amount of tallow in the soap. And so it got a little bit less creamy. Still very slick, but a little inferior lather if you know about the old stuff. Blade we're using today is a feather. Just kind of had a, 10 uses on this one. So we're on number 11. Just been on kind of a feather kick lately. So we're going to do that. And the Williams puck I actually have, this is a Hazel Atlas shaving mug. And it's got a little logo on the bottom, which is how you can tell. I got it in a lot purchase. I didn't actually, care about whether I got it or not. Then once I got it, I realized it was actually a kind of a vintage shaving mug, and it fits the Williams puck exactly. So that's what I'm using today. I have bloomed it for a few minutes or soaked it. Put about 2.5 teaspoons of water in there because my plan is that, and it's cold water, it's room temperature water. I'm going to, instead of draining that into the sink and wasting it, that's soap infused water. I'm going to pour that into my bowl, and that's going to be the hydration for my lather, or at least the start of it. And so I think that could help me. All right. Not going to do anything crazy with Williams because you don't have to, but there are a couple things. With Williams, you have to go a little slower. It's not as quick to generate a good lather as a lot of the other soaps out there. I can get it around at a certain grocery store. I know where to get it, and it's about $1.30 or something like that right now. You can get it online for about that price if you look really hard. And there's, I've seen it for $20 a puck on eBay because people just don't know what they have, So don't be duped. If $1.50 or less is where I'm going to buy it. All right. The brush we're going to use is the B10 from Zenith. And this is a Boar, and it's been soaking for a couple hours. And I've only got about 3 uses on it, so it's a young one. The lather bowl we're going to use is the cool one that I got from Roger, a viewer that I'm really enjoying. And the razor, feather's already in it. And this is a stainless steel handle that I got, and I don't really like the design. I got it on sale, and so I thought, okay, I'll get it. But see, they had this cool spiral, rounded edge. It's a West Coast shaving handle. They had this handle sale, so I went ahead and got it because it looked really cool. But then this little onion they put at the top just doesn't look right on every other head I've tried it on. But this head right here, you can see it's got quite a curve on it. These bars, the safety bar on the bottom, they go down so low that they kind of cover up the ugly onion. So that's where we finally found a head that I'm going to use this handle with. This is a handle from a Baili long handle chrome razor. You can search for that on Amazon. And it's the one that is the exact same structurally as the Vikings Blade Godfather. So you can pay $45 for a Vikings Blade Godfather if you want, or you can pay about $8 and get the same thing without a pinstripe if you get the Baili. I don't remember the number designation. I don't think it's 179. I can't remember exactly. Sorry. And so it normally has that long teardrop looking handle without very much texture, very shiny and chromy. So the reason I swapped the handles out was because while that long shiny one does work, it is a little slippery. A shower shaver would not want to use that one. And so put on a different handle. But I wanted to let you know that that nice bargain razor, it's not stainless steel or anything, it's pot metal. But that bargain razor is what I'm shaving with today. One cool thing about this, like the Gillette Tex of years ago. It has these 4 posts in the corners that help to keep the blade aligned perfectly. And then it's just going to sit on top of the base plate here. And it really kind of supports the blade pretty well from the top and bottom, kind of near the edge. And so it should, I haven't shaved with this in a very long time, it should give me a good, consistent feel without very much fluctuation and blade chatter. So that's what we're looking for today. And as usual, splash my face with water. All right, so now I'm going to take the bloom water and pour it into my lather bowl. I put 2.5 because I expected about half a teaspoon to kind of be absorbed by the puck. I've heard that these pucks do better if you shave with them every day because they keep a little of the moisture and don't dry out quite as much. So it's easier to extract that soap and quicker to extract that soap if it's used consecutively. And my own experiments have shown that one of these pucks will last 60 shaves for me. Right around the 60, near that end, it'll start to get very tiny. It might get difficult to get those fragments to give you a lather, but that's how long it'll go. All right. So, one of the things to remember about, we won't cover that quite yet. That's relevant when we get to the bowl. All right, so I'm going to shake it a few times. Usually in the past, I've come to the Williams puck with a wetter brush than this. But since I've already got that water waiting for it, I'm going to reduce the water from here. Now this B10, you can see I've done some work on it. It had these 2 sharp ridges that went around the thing. It was very uncomfortable. I couldn't quite get why they would do that. So I took my Dremel and filed them down. And it looks ugly, but it's a whole lot more comfortable. All right. So let's do a 45-second load just to cover my bases because it's been a while. And we got a 30 mark right there. So we'll go until 15 on the next minute. Woo! Sorry about the clinking. If you have a larger mug, you're going to have less clinking, but the puck will swim around a little bit. One thing you can do is take a cheese grater and grate the puck. Then you can shove the little gratings in whatever container you want, any size. Or you could grate half the puck, and there we go, 45 seconds. You could grate half the puck and then put the shreds down first and then press the puck into the shreds, or put the puck in the cup, the solid piece, and then put the shreds around the edges. So there's some different things you can do. But hard pucks like this, you can just grate it with a cheese grater. Just gonna hook this stuff out. This has been sitting for a while, and I'm surprised I'm smelling anything, but I am. All right, so here we go. Now, what I was almost mentioning earlier, it's relevant now. See, look at that bubbly, airy lather. There we go. Okay. A lot of times that'll come up when you're using Williams. Don't sweat it. Don't use it. Stir through it. Williams is one of the soaps that does this tricky thing where it starts off feeling thin, and so if you do a finger test, you may think, oh, better stop adding water because it's super thin. Hasn't really activated yet and become a lather. There are a few other soaps that I've had this happen with. But it stays thin and airy, and then if you keep mixing, you keep adding water, then it reaches it's insufficient, and then you'll hit this peak, and where it's creamy, feels great, where you need to stop. And then if you keep adding water, then it starts to diminish, of course, and get thin back the other direction. So it's thin on both sides of the peak. And sometimes you don't know which side of the peak you're on. If you haven't loaded enough soap, then you can kind of be in trouble that way. So that's why it's handy to maybe do a little measurement. An easy measurement to do is to pour some water on the puck in the mug like I had, and visually gauge it, like maybe a fingertips, a finger width's depth of water. And that's an easy thing to measure. And then keep working on your measurement until you get the right one that gives you the right amount of water you want to use. Or maybe the shake method. How many shakes of the brush? How many drops will I leave in the brush? So as you can see, it's looking really good. The big bubbles are gone. And that's a good looking lather. Williams is really slick. Anybody who tells you otherwise hasn't ever done it right. That's pretty much it. So basically we're just stirring until we get a stable lather here, until that water mixes fully with the soap, and then we can decide whether we want to keep adding more water or stop. It's looking good. That might be all we need right there. Nice little bit of cushion. Oh, that feels good. I cannot feel if I have ridges on my fingerprints. So it is that creamy, that viscosity. And that's pretty cool. I am going to add a little bit more water to this. So let's fill up my 2 teaspoon syringe. I'm just going to put in 1/2 teaspoon at a time because I don't think I'm too far away from awesome. Size comparison. Lots of lather here. Pull it out. Let's look at the elasticity. Still holding on pretty well. Let's just put a little bit of pre-shave on my face here. Maybe add one more 1/2 teaspoon, and maybe we'll go with that. I have gotten great lathers from Williams by using a hot water soak. Get that water nice and hot from the tap, putting it on the puck. And that really eats into the soap to not waste it, as long as you're careful, but to make it easy to get onto your brush. And I've had great lathers with that technique, but I don't want to wait around for hot. So that's why I tried this, and this is shaping up to be a pretty good lather. Let's just try this one. Maybe too thick, but I can add water to my face, and I'll know better next time. One more splash on my face. And now is the time in Sprockets when I tell you that I use hard water. It's what's in my pipes, and it is cold. This is the winter. It is cold. All right, I can't remember how this brush treated me last time, whether it was a little bit scrubby or I don't think it was pokey. Ooh, that feels good. Now I guarantee you most people are not aware that Williams can give a lather that looks like this. And sure, if you want to only take 9 minutes to shave every morning, because that's just your schedule, I understand. And Williams is, you know, probably not going to be the best option for you. And look at that lather. That is awesome. And my little brush rest that Roger put on this guy, working great. Now, I worked with Williams for the whole month of August last year in 2018. I used it for my the whole month, and that's how I know how much Williams can give you. And one thing I discovered was that Williams probably isn't the cheapest of soaps, because after all, you have to count the cost per shave, and a puck of Williams, as we now know, and this is giving me excellent slickness and glide here. Since we know that it gives you 60 uses, then we can start doing some math. The a puck of Williams, if you find it for $1.30, you can divide that out with 60 uses, get your cost per use. Now the thing is, there are other soaps out there, like Prix de Provence. Number 63 is the one that I like, and it may cost you, $15. However, it's going to last a lot longer than that 2-month Williams time span. Now, does it last enough longer to make it a more cost-effective thing? Unfortunately, I don't know, because I haven't measured with the Prix de Provence. I have heard of Arco giving you about 3 months of shaves, and it's about the same price as Williams. And so it's a direct competitor, at least the stick is. I haven't really priced the puck. Oh, that just first pass went really, really well. It's just that the thing about the Arco is that lemony scent is very industrial and kind of puts people off a little bit. The Williams scent can also do that, but it's more of a citronella type scent. And if you just kind of leave it open for a few days, then the smell will really reduce. It wasn't really a bother for me. This lather is terrific. And this Boar is working really well, so really happy with this Zenith. It might really come my first Zenith. I've got another one, but haven't started using it yet. All right. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have a ton of lather left over, so maybe a 30-second load next time. So this blade's cutting really well. I'm not really feeling any irritation, anything like that. This is my trouble spot, and I'm choosing my angle. This is a cross grain angle for this area. I'm going to take a little more aggressive angle for this area here on the third pass. So this is an excellent razor. tell you the truth. See, it's so firm. And by firm, I mean it's not making a lot of noise. I think it's going to give you smoother results than something like the DE89 series, whether it's the the Maggard version of that, the Muley version of that, or the Edwin Jagger DE89. I tried one of those recently, and a lot of chatter because the blade isn't supported really close to the edge. I actually might start recommending this one, this head. I like it a little better. Trouble is, I can't really recommend that long chrome smooth handle. All right, comfortable shave so far. All right, let's go for that third pass. Leaving some dripping water on my face because this lather can use it. This brush, like I said, is doing except maybe all that stuff in my goatee. That's probably a little too much. Nice. So Arco, performance-wise and cost-wise, is probably a better option than the Williams. It is easier to lather. Both of them work fine in hard water. Crazy glide I'm getting right now. You just have to be able to put up with the Arco smell. So I like the smell of Williams a little better. And Williams is also made in the USA, where Arco is not. You can choose, sometimes that's important for people. All right, and now, last time, see my hair right here in my trouble spot here, grows kind of almost horizontal, but kind of takes a downturn here. Here it's more horizontal. And so last time I went kind of at a 90-degree angle to that growth. I'm going to change that and go with a slight against the grain aspect to it. And we'll see if that doesn't help me to get a better cut in that area. And the rest of it will shave just fine. All right, third pass is done. All right, that little tricky directional pass I did, there's a little area right here that has great problems, and it just cleaned it out nicely. I don't even see any the tips of the hairs. They've just been cut really well, so that's cool. There is some surrounding stuff that didn't quite get done as well, so let us, a little splash of water, and then put a little bit more lather for a touch-up pass. One time I shaved with Williams and I found it very drying, but the reason it was is because I had not constituted the lather properly. I had not stirred through that airy, bubbly stuff, and so it gave me that drying effect. And so if you also find it drying, that may be the reason. Now, if you've got sensitive skin or just kind of chronic dry skin, then that may be a different story. My understanding is people with that kind of situation need to choose a soap with, if they can, with moisturizing ingredients and, butters and oils and things like that, as well as a balm and moisturizer afterwards in order to help their skin situation out. So there we go. The scent is almost unnoticeable. It's just kind of a clean soapy scent that's in the background. Scent strength, I might have to give it a 2. out of 10. It's barely noticeable, but it does feel like, hey, I'm shaving soap. All right. So really happy with that. Rinse it off. So yesterday, with some online shavers that I kind of work around with, the theme for Thursday was cheapest shave ever. And I chose Irish Spring deodorant soap, just bar soap, standard bar soap available at Dollar Tree. It presents a very okay lather. It's not creamy by any means. Williams is definitely better. But it's very workable and slick and protective. And so that's why I chose that, partially because I felt like somebody else in the group was going to choose Williams. It's an obvious candidate. So that's why I'm shaving with it today, because nobody picked it. And I wanted to make sure we had a Williams shave in recent history here. So it's very enjoyable, super comfortable, no irritation, nothing like a nick or anything like that. Just really enjoying that shave. So let's see what kind of post shave we have. All right, kind of going standard with Williams. So we'll kind of go standard with the Nivea original post shave balm. And I figured out through my use of the sensitive balm that I started out with a while back that I got about 119 uses out of this size container. A little piece of data for you there. And at $5 a pop, that's pretty good. Works pretty well. But if you have really dry skin, I don't think this is a high performance moisturizer, but I have oily skin, so it definitely works fine for me. And this one has a little bit of alcohol in it, and that has some antiseptic properties as well as helping to kind of control my oily skin just a hair. Nice scent on it, yeah, pretty good. All right, good shave, good shave. So this is wow, I'm really pleased with this head. Polished chrome. It's it's not gonna last forever because it's not stainless steel, but I like this much better than the DE89. Baili makes it BAILI, and you can find it on AliExpress.com, ALIEXPR Express, and it's also available on Amazon. In that, if you look for is it Q Shave? I don't know what name it's going on. It may just be Baili, but look for long handle chrome razor, and you'll see this head, and then you'll see it starts out narrow, the handle does, and then it gets bulbous, very smooth. Oh, and it's got some grip stripes right around here, and that's the head that this is, and so that's that. Man, if I can find this same head available with a little better grippy handle, then that would be my recommendation for a beginner shaver. This is very similar to the old Gillette Tex, which is another great option for beginning shavers. Pro or veteran shavers like the Tex as well. Some of them have shaved with them for decades and don't intend on stopping. They're surprisingly efficient when you get your angle right. All right, how much water do we end up using? So in the lather, I put in that 2.5 teaspoons. I ended up adding another teaspoon of lather, so 3.5 teaspoons for the 45-second load. So how much soap do I have left over? About 2 or 3 passes. Let's do 3 passes. I mean, look, tons. So I definitely don't have to do 45 seconds. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I'd really love to get a good Williams video that I could point people to, because there are a whole lot of doubters out there. And Williams has a good distinction, probably for many people, with being the only soap that they can get at an actual location, at an actual store. So many of them, unless you live near one of the cool ones like Maggard or something like that, then you're stuck unless you want to go in and pay the exorbitant prices at Art of Shaving, which are in different malls and whatever. But you can find Williams pucks in a lot of the smaller grocery stores. I found mine in an Ingles in the South. It wasn't in Publix. It wasn't in Food Lion. I think it used to be in Walmart, but I think Walmart's taken them out. So I love my little change that I made on the handle right there, dremeling out those ridges. This was much easier to manage. I may not even have to move this this brush, the knot here, to a different handle. So I ended up with tons of lather. All right, so this is something I do after every use of a Boar brush, especially ones that that are young and I'm kind of breaking in. Is that I sling the water out of them down in the sink, and then that's what it looks like now. And then I take it over to my towel, and I just strop it up and down like this. A lot of times I don't air this part because you don't really need to see me do this every time. Because with a Boar brush, and what I'm doing is I'll do it one way, I'll turn it 90 degrees and do it the other way. That way we have good flex in kind of all directions. And so we're helping to dry the brush. I'm also helping to have those bristles flex and help the splay to open up, because that's going to help you to hold a bunch of lather. Although, as you saw today, in terms of a bowl lather, it does a great job of holding all the lather that it needs to. But if you're a face lather, you might enjoy more splay, more capacity. And we're the drying of the bristles is important, because that is what causes the tips to split. There's one right there. And it gets more and more comfortable and soft the more the tips split. Now, it was enjoyable today, and so it's really cool to think it's going to get even better as time goes by, because it is very young. And then another thing with Boars, let it go at least a day before you use it again. And what I mean is, don't use it the next day. Alternate every other, or even better than that, so that it has a really good chance to dry out and split between uses. So I really liked putting a predetermined amount of water in the cup, a smaller amount, instead of soaking it quite deep. Put an amount of water that you're going to then pour into your bowl. Obviously, face latherers can't do that. They would want to come into it with more water in their brush. But I'm really happy with that technique. It also doesn't waste soap. Obviously, I wasted some soap this time because I loaded for too long and poured 2 to 3 passes down the drain. But that's something we can correct. I'm still going to do the same technique here. I'm just going to load for less time. I'll put the water in here, then pour the water in my lather bowl before I start mixing. It's just that next time, maybe 20 or 30 seconds will be what I use. One of the disadvantages of using feather blades is that if you don't work hard initially to take the waxy substance off of the blade, it adheres it to the envelope the blade is stored in. But if you don't take it off early, then you're just going to get this residue put on your razor heads that you kind of have to clean off. I'd kind of prefer, in general, I probably am not going to use feather blades as much just because of that. That's just annoying. Who wants to do that every time? So I like this handle. It was good. I like the girth. I like the thickness of it a lot. It could be a little lighter, but that's fine. The balance was in a good place. I was able to use it how I wanted to every time, with proper grip. So no problems at all with that. I liked it. So I'm all packed up and cleaned up. So this is just proof that Williams can give you a great lather that where the slickness can really rival some of the top tier soaps. Now, it's not going to have those oils and butters like we talked about for the post-shave care, but I always put a balm on afterwards. So for ordinary skin people and people with oily skin, it's just not a problem, at least in my opinion. So it can definitely be used and successfully used. So there we go, an excellent lather. I'll work on reducing that load time until we'll get that optimal video put out, so I can point people to it, so that at least ignorance won't be a roadblock for somebody to use Williams if they want to try it. All right, now I hope there was something here for you. Take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Good night.